Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing? This video, I want to recreate this effect from Ramp. They made a little events mini site here, and it's got this neat glyph ripple intro animation that is really cool. They got some blend modes going on as well, and just thought we would try to recreate it in Unicorn Studio. I looked under the hood. It's one shader pass. They're using a mask for the arrow, and they actually built in all the timing of this animation in the shader. We're going to do it in as few shader passes as possible. We have the advantage of using the timeline for animations. I'm going to try to be as true to the original as I can, but we're going to have to do a couple things a little differently so that we don't need to use custom shaders, which we could to get this to be spot on. But we're going to be purists, and we're going to see how we can do this thing. Okay, so first we're going to make a new project, and I'm going to make the background a dark blue that kind of matches. Maybe it's a little more like that. And then we have this gradient here, which has a nice little transition. It's not just a straight up color. For that, I'm going to use circle. I'm going to make it kind of a purpley color, and I'm going to use add. And then we'll make that bigger. We'll skew it out so that it's flatter. And we'll kind of boost up the blur a little bit here. It's a little more purpley than we want. Let's just make that. All right, I'm happy with that. It's not exact, but let's start with that. Okay, so let's look at this thing again. We got 4 pulses that come out, and then it kind of fades into this steady state where there's a ripple coming from the middle every 5 seconds or so. This is bugging me. It's gotta be, yeah, there we go. So let's try this. I think we will want to add a glyph dither ripple on top. So I'm going to group these into a ripple group. Name that. And of course I can use shapes to group effects. Out of the box, we have beam, which has this Nova preset. And Nova gives me a ripple with these adjustable parameters that I think should be able to do what we're looking for here. I'm going to make it a little thicker, a little bigger. Let's boost that. I want a nice gradient, a nice fall off here so that the ASCII effect looks really smooth, because theirs is very smooth. I mean, I guess they have, maybe the ripples are 4 fully scaled arrows deep. I think we can probably do that. And just to show you what, how this is going to come together, we will add that on top. And in fact, I think I actually saw when I was poking around in their shader that they were using color burn, which that doesn't look right to me. But yeah, we can just start with that. Okay, let's look at that again. So they've got some padding around the highest intensity arrow scale. And the smallest one looks to be very, very small. Like they shrink it all the way down. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to make our own glyph. It's going to be kind of annoying because we're going to have to do all the scaling manually, but that's just going to be a one-off pain, and then it'll be really awesome when we're finished. Okay, so that's just an arrow. I'm just going to make that really quick. All right, union. There's a little radius there. That's fine. Okay. So we are going to, and I don't actually know how big this is going to get, how many steps we need. So I'm just going to start with the smallest one. I'll just get rid of this radius. Start with the smallest one, which is going to be very tiny. Make sure that we're centered in our cell here. All right, that's good enough for me. So I think what I want to do is 3, 4. We'll just go all the way across, and then we will scale it up by a factor of 4 every step. Scale that down, 320 by 40. That looks good. I'm going to export that as a PNG. Okay. All right, now on glyph, we will add it. Pretty good. It's not bad. Okay, so the next thing, let's see how that we get this this overlay effect right. It's wait a minute, that's good. Soft light. Although that is kind of affecting the background. It's making the background a little darker. I mean, there's always just opacity. That might be fine. I think I'm into that. That'll do it. Okay. Now, let's go back here. Let's see if we can get these. Yeah, I noticed in the beginning it's a little bit kind of skewed out like this. And trying to boost up the thickness a little bit. Also, we have this gamma control here, which kind of lets us tighten or expand the width of the effect. Okay, that's fine. So with this first one, I mean, there's a couple ways we could do it. I think we'll try to just do a bunch of phase animations on the timeline. So let's just see what this one looks like. All right. 80. Okay. It's kind of like that. And then we have a much more dramatic curve. I think it's an ease out. Yeah. All right. So let's duplicate this, and then we'll make another one that's going to go from, we're just going to keep incrementing phase. So this one's going to start at 80, and it's going to end at 160. Okay, didn't look quite right, but we also want to have more of a pause. I mean, I guess. Yeah, we want to make this a little bit longer. 1200. Looks pretty good. Let's just get a sense of that timing again here. All right, it's, it's a good chunk. Gives us some time to read those words. So let's do 1200 on the original. We'll give it more of a pause, and we're just going to make that cleaner so I can make it half a second that it waits, and then it's going to do another 12. No, let's make this 1500 now. Yeah, okay. And then we'll duplicate that one. And then we'll move that out so we have a half-second pause. Again. Delay. Yep, that looks right. Okay. Okay. Now, actually, I think we might want to end on... Yeah, let's just go all the way for this one. Just make it 1600 so we can play out. Because when we transition away from the kind of intro part, and I'm not going to do all the, whatever the text scrolling was there. Just a couple of these is going to be fine for me. Gotta stop. All right, so that looked fine, except that we didn't end kind of in the right spot. Let's just see where we end. Probably going to end even number so that it is gone. Okay, great. So let's see what happens when we get to the steady state. I know that the ripple that loops is a circle, whereas these are kind of like elliptical to frame the page. Right, very slow, circular one. And then I guess that big one does stay there. So we actually don't want this to be fully disappeared. Okay, that's fine. And then we want to just start the fresh one. So I'm going to use a second beam, a second nova effect. I'm going to keep it on top here just so I can see what's up. And it's going to, I think we'll just turn off the opacity. No. We're going to make the phase so that it is invisible initially. We might need to do the opacity as well. No, that's fine. -2. Okay. And we are going to have it, yeah. Speed is going to be at 0. So it'll be playing at 0 speed. It's going to be waiting at the phase that I want. And what we're going to do is we're going to animate speed up to the value that we want. So I'm going to move this way out here because it kind of takes a minute to come in. We'll do half a second. Speed 500 to get to what we want. Let's say 25 because it looks kind of slow. And, we'll just go ahead and put it under the glyph dither. Just start playing from here. Okay. Probably want the end result to go all the way out to the outer ring. Boost the thickness. Kind of has like some cool texture where it's like a little bit random initially, the sizes of the arrows, like there's some noise kind of thrown in there. I'm trying to think if there's like a cheap thing we could do before we apply the glyph dither just to give a little bit more texture. Something cheap. Cheap random. Okay. This could be interesting. Just want to do that. So for that, we can kind of boost that. We'll use a lot of glow, not a whole lot of brightness. Yeah, I don't want it to play where we don't have our ripple. So I'm just really jacking up the threshold. That's cool. That's like a super extreme version of what we want. It's one way to do it. Subtract. This is a little bit too much. Subtle. Honestly, a small subtract could be the best way to do it. It's like just a tiny little bit. You just could go fully leaning into it. It's not bad. I mean, I like it. Can we dial it back just a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 I think we've done it. Is it exact? No. But is it pretty good? I think so. They've got a lot better spread than we have. Um, and I'm trying to think. I don't really want to add a blur. Yeah, but this thickness just isn't quite doing it. The gradient isn't. It's what I'm looking for. It's like a very sharp fall off because it's inverse distance. It's like the sun effect, where what they're doing is more of a blurred ring, like a traditional blur. Let's just try. Let's just try it. It has the texture. And you know what we could do? Let's just make it a zoom blur so that we really like Yeah. There we go. Yeah. I might want to change the gamma just a little bit. All right, maybe this is it. 1, 2, 3. You know, there's a lot here, but none of it's that expensive. And if we go to the optimize tab, we can totally downsample all this stuff. Totally down, you know, totally down, totally down, totally down. Probably half. So that's like very efficient. All right. Pretty happy with that. And of course, you do your own text overlay and timing and animations for that stuff. I would not do that in Unicorn Studio. You know, do this on your Framer site or whatever. So yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna put the remix link in the description, and hope you give it a try yourself. Hope you learn something too. All right, thanks. Bye.